Man, that doesn't sound good. What does that mean? I think I just heard it again. See, it's doing it right there. Huh. The pedal assist is going and it's like something is spinning. See, there it spun and there it's not. And you can hear something. It sounds like something is just like spinning freely like over here. See, it's happening like all the time now. Like it's not. Oh. Yeah, that red grease, it got in here from the outside somehow, and then it got onto the inside of this nylon gear. And I think that was what might have been preventing anything from working. Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be opening up my BBSHD again, and we're going to look inside, see what's going on. I've been having a little bit of a problem with it lately. I opened it up a couple days ago because it was sounding loud, like it needed some grease. So I opened it up. I basically just opened up this cover. Let's see here. So this, I actually taped it. Let's see. Wow. So I put electrical tape on it and it's ripping the paint off. That's unbelievable. Or is that anodizing? I don't know. I never thought that would come off from electrical tape. That's crazy. Okay, so I'm not going to do that again. Alright, and then... So here comes... I'm going to push the axle from the other side and pull it out like this. So here's kind of the state of affairs inside of the motor. So I didn't entirely, I didn't totally clean it out last time. This piece right here, we can pull this axle out. Oh. Right? So here's the axle, and you don't want to pull on this thing at all, or you can damage it. That's the pedal assist sensor. But so I think, or at least I thought, where the problem originally started was this clutch. So let's look at this clutch, and I had too much grease on it for sure. Like I put some, what I did when I greased this the first time was I put some grease in here, and what I was trying to do was quiet this thing down a little bit because it was just kind of noisy. Like when I wasn't pedaling the BBSHD, I could just hear this thing going like all the clicks. So it was noisy. There's still some stuff in here. Alright guys, so I have the clutch in a Ziploc baggie, and I was using some, first I was rubbing like 99% isopropyl alcohol, and it was kind of taking a minute to get the grease out, so I also put some mineral spirits in there, which seems to be working better. So, and I think I got all the grease off of this clutch. There should be no, like, we're getting it out of there. I'm agitating it. We are gonna be, like, kind of moving those springs around a little bit. Okay. So here's the clutch. The little spring guys. So there's one little spring, it's working fine. There's another little spring, working fine. There's another little spring, working fine. I mean, I don't see anything that looks wrong in there. I mean, it seems like the clutch should be able to go in there. Huh. Right, so that seems like it's the right direction. It should be able to spin freely this way. Here's the axle, right? We're putting this guy back into the clutch. And I mean, I really don't think that there's any way that thing could be slipping there at all, right? Alright guys, so I just took like a tiny bit of grease, like not much at all, to grease up the inside of this thing here. And I'm rubbing it with my finger just to kind of like get some grease on the surface of it, but there shouldn't be any, like, a lot of it, right? Where it's gonna get all gunked up on the clutch again. Because I tried putting the clutch back in here and putting it back on there, but then the clutch sounded loud, and it was like there was a little bit of drag when it was freewheeling. So you want some grease in there, but just not too much. So now the clutch feels a lot better with just a little tiny bit of grease in there. It shouldn't be causing anything to get caught up. But like, if you don't have any grease in there, I could kind of tell, like there was a little bit of drag when it was freewheeling. I mean, just a little tiny bit of grease got onto the clutch, but I don't think it's enough to like make it get stuck or anything. And so I'm just gonna put a little bit of grease back on here, and then get that guy going back through. I think I just heard it again. See, it's doing it right there. Huh. It sounds like something is spinning freely, like over here, like the nylon. It sounds like, man, that's crazy. But it's doing it again, see, because the chainring, like, the pedal assist is going, and it's like something is spinning. See, there it spun, and there it's not, and you can hear something. It sounds like something is just like spinning freely, like over here. I put the axle back in there with the pedal assist sensor and everything. And now I'm just going to twist it and see what happens. Hopefully this grease doesn't go all over the place. Oh, there is something wrong with this. Yeah, look at that. So there's something wrong with this little tiny, what is that, the pinion gear or the helical gear? I don't know, but there's something. Oh, weird. Yeah, there's definitely, I think there's something going on with this, actually. Like, I don't think it's anything to do with the clutch. It's this guy, like, it seems like, yeah, there's a problem in here with this, because this thing, my understanding is, like, it should be spinning this way, right? But when I twist this guy, there's, like, certain points of it. Huh. Weird. So now it's not happening. I can't seem to make it happen again here, but like you saw it where I was twisting the axle and you could hear the motor going, but this thing wasn't spinning, and it was like now I can't get it to happen again. Alright guys, so I have reason to believe that it's whatever is connected to this thing. Is this the pinion gear, the helical gear? I don't know. What, and I can't get it to happen again. It seemed intermittent. But so I was just twisting the pedal assist, right? And so this thing should be spinning. But I noticed at some point when I was twisting the pedal assist, I could hear something spinning over here, but this thing was not spinning. And then all of a sudden it caught and it started spinning. I believe this is hooked up to the nylon gear. I looked at the nylon gear the other day and it seemed, the teeth on the nylon gear seemed fine. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to open it. See, and now I can't get it to happen again. So I just disconnected the controller from the BBSHD. We're gonna set that aside. And you have to take the controller out so that you can pull this other side of the motor off, because this is all the longer the wires are. So now we're coming over to the other side, and we're going to use our 3mm Allen key to get these ones out. So I believe this is what we call the motor core. It's got the rotor and the stator. And I mean, this part seems fine right here. Right? I mean, it's kind of a helical cut gear, so it's a funny looking gear, but it's solid, like it's just solid on there. It is not moving. It seems like all the teeth are fine. There's just some white lithium grease on there. But it seems like this is okay. I don't know. So let's go look at this. Oh, this is the part where I might need my impact. I am seeing some funny stuff down in here, like it looks a little bit like gray down in there. Let's see, is this okay? I'm not seeing any like, let's see what this is. Let's get this out. So that's just like, this is grease. White lithium grease mixed with something else maybe. So I'm gonna get this cover off so that I can look at the nylon gear again, because I think I have a feeling it's something to do with this nylon gear, but I mean, I don't see any teeth that are broke off of here. Like, I looked through all of the teeth on this nylon gear last night, and the teeth look fine. So let's keep going. Where's my... I guess you gotta be careful so you don't strip these Phillips screws out. I got them out with an impact last night, and then I just put them back on with kind of like a low setting on the impact. Let's see. So, well, I got that thing off. I think it's whatever, because see, there's this gear right here goes in here, but then this nylon, it goes through this nylon gear and it drives another gear. And I think that's where it was slipping. So I need to figure out, we got to get this little snap ring off of here, and I don't have a snap ring pliers. Alright guys, I made it a little bit further here. I went to the hardware store and I bought these retaining ring pliers set. And then I fiddled around with these dang things for a while because it's got like these screws, and it holds these, like, it's got like different tips that you can use with them. But it's just like this finicky thing to get the screws fastened on there in such a way where the tips will stay still, and you have to apply quite a bit of force to open up these clips, these retaining clips. And it seems like once I open this thing, it kind of like stretched it out, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to use that again. Maybe. But so don't buy these. Don't buy them with the removable tips. These are piles of garbage. It took me longer to get the thing off than it did to drive to the hardware store and buy the tool, and I should have just bought a better one. But anyways, so what I noticed was when I pulled out, I took that clip off, and then I was able to get this nylon gear out, but I noticed that inside of this nylon gear there was a whole bunch of that red grease that I put in over here. So apparently the grease made its way from that outer, like the out drive, the secondary gear on the outside. The grease somehow made its way in here, and then it got like inside of this, and it was all like greased up in here. So what I did was I took like a towel, paper towel, whatever you have, and then I just kind of like ran it through this nylon gear and then started like twisting it, and you can see there's like stuff, there's kind of like stuff coming out of it. And so I think that was some of, like, that's still the grease that I put in. I think it got in there somehow. And I think it was preventing this nylon gear from spinning this thing. And I don't understand personally. I don't understand how this even works or how this spins. Like, what is this? It's this. It seems like it's got a bunch of rollers in here. But I don't understand how this nylon gear can even turn this thing, because this thing right here is like, that is completely smooth on the sides of it. Like, there's no splines or anything holding it onto this nylon gear. So I don't understand how this works and how this nylon gear can spin this thing when that's like completely smooth. But so what I'm noticing here is, like, on the inside of this thing, there was some of that red grease too. So it seems like if you put too much grease in the outside of the BBSHD, it can kind of like migrate in here somehow. And what I think was happening was this nylon gear was spinning. I think it goes this way, but this nylon gear, like, it was on here and it was spinning, but the thing wasn't spinning with it. It seems like this nylon gear, and then so what I did to get it out, like, I went like this to get that nylon gear out, and now I suppose I gotta clean it all out again. But I think it was like there was grease on the inside of this sucker, and it was preventing it from like working right. So I want to make sure that this is all cleaned out again. I'm gonna do my little process of cleaning all that stuff out. Is that a roller bearing? Is that what that's called? I don't know. But so I'm cleaning stuff. I'm making sure that this bearing is all like cleaned out. And then I'm also going to clean out inside of here. So I don't know, I mean, I feel like that nylon gear should be clean. And then I'm going to clean all this. It was white lithium grease is what was on there, but I think it turned kind of gray when it mixed with that other stuff. So I'm just going to get in here and get all of this out. So what I was noticing was happening is like this thing, it just wasn't catching. Right? Like it wasn't catching on the nylon gear is what I think was happening. Like this thing was able to just spin freely without actually engaging the nylon gear. And I don't know if it's just because there was all the grease got into that roller bearing or whatever that's called that's inside of the nylon gear. I don't understand how that thing even spins this or how that works. But yeah, that red grease, it got in here from the outside somehow, and then it got onto the inside of this nylon gear. And I think that was what might have been preventing anything from working. So I've cleaned out most of that. I don't see any more grease like inside of this thing. It doesn't, I don't know how this thing works. Like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I don't know how that works or how that catches on to anything. Apparently it does. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to grease the outside of this nylon gear and make sure that it doesn't get on the inside. I'm not going to go crazy with it. When you're doing this stuff, there's a lot of people in the comments, and it's really contradictory. There's a lot of people that'll say, don't go good on the grease. Make sure you use enough grease. Don't be shy of using all the grease. And then there's a whole contingency of people that'll say, don't use too much grease. And after this, I'm inclined to believe that there is possibly such a thing as too much grease or grease getting into the wrong spot. That's potentially what happened. So I want to keep this grease out here on the outside of this gear. I'm just going to kind of put some into the teeth. But then we are going to make sure that there's none coming over like the edges. Make sure that there's none getting in on the inside. Okay, so I've got my nylon gear. The teeth look fine. It's going in this way. We're putting it back in, right? I wiped this thing off because it seemed like there was grease on it and there wasn't supposed to be, so that thing is completely wiped off. There's nothing on that. And then apparently somehow this nylon gear can spin this thing just with these little rollers on the inside of it. That's unbelievable to me. I didn't know anything like that existed. So let's put that in there. Oh, and then here's the frustrating part where I have to use these. Okay, so we've got our snap ring pliers. We're going to try not to shoot this thing across the garage. Okay, so let's see, is that snap ring still working right? Let's see here. So I think the snap ring got stretched out a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be a problem or not. Maybe I'm going to see if I can use this other snap ring pliers to kind of squeeze this snap ring back together a little bit. Man, I have a feeling that is going to be making some noise. I don't know if these snap rings are reusable. Oh. Okay, well, there's nothing I can do about that now. I think it should at least hold it on there. It might be noisy. I don't know. So now we've got this thing. I'm going to clean all of this stuff. I'm going to clean all this grease off of this thing. I'm looking at the teeth and they seem fine. I might just grease up the end of this just a little bit here. I don't even think I really need to put any grease onto the rest of this thing. Let's see, maybe just, so when this goes in there, I mean, it should get grease from that nylon thing, but I'll just put a little bit on there just for good measure. Alright guys, so I greased the nylon gear. I've got this cover back on. There's a little bit of grease on this gear right here. Okay, so this should be on there nice and good. Now we can get this guy going back through here. So we'll get the phase wires going through those little holes. All right. So we got that piece back on there. Back together. Let's flip this around. Oh. So now we gotta hook our controller back up. Just gonna kind of loosely put the crank arm on here so it's easier to twist this. All right. All right, well, I put the chain ring back on. Let's carefully get the chain on here because the motor's on right now. Don't want to lose any fingers. Okay, so now I'm gonna hold the bike up so the rear wheel is off of the ground and the kickstand is holding the back of the bike up. And I'm gonna attach the crank arm and then give it okay. All right, so I'm gonna turn the bike off and then take it outside and hop on and see what happens. So, all right guys, it's kind of a rainy day. I'm just testing this out. Seems to be working so far. Oh,